Good morning, good afternoon, good evening all over the world. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I have one of my subscribers on the phone and we have a presentation we're going to go through. And this is Jennifer, and she has her own YouTube channel. It's Essential Oil Stories that I think you should check out. It's really interesting. And so this presentation that we're going to go through, she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then we're going to learn about essential oils and how they can help you in the SHTF scenarios.
So welcome to the channel today. You have been hearing a lot about gold lately from Dobson 777A, but today we're going to talk about frankincense. That's right, frankincense essential oil and other essential oils for health and wellness. So we hope you enjoy what we have put together for you today.
So Jennifer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really great, and I really appreciate you having me on your channel. So I have been using essential oils actually for our family for about 10 years now. So I went through about 11 years of my adult life being on and off antibiotics. And when I discovered essential oils as, plant, some people would say plant medicine, but anyway, for your health, I have now been never prescribed an antibiotic in 10 years now. And so I think that's pretty profound, going from being on and off them for 11 years and now at this point being completely off of them for 10 years. That's something to pay attention to. So these are the real deal, and I hope to bring some new information to some of your viewers.
That's great. Hey, is this along the lines of do they call it like homeopathic, or what separates essential oils from like some of these other medicinal things that you hear about?
As far as they're not in the same family, they're not similar, except that they are similar in that they are a natural modality of wellness. So I also use homeopathics. I get them from the health food store, but they're quite different in how they're used. But I would use them for the same things that I would use essential oils. So if I had a tickle in my throat, I would use some essential oils. A couple hours later, I might use some homeopathics. That makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
All right. So next slide. So why I will always use essential oils for wellness is because they are completely natural. They come from plants. I don't have to worry about side effects. Why you get side effects with your standard traditional contemporary medicine is because they're made in laboratories, and our bodies are very smart, so they realize that. And so that's why you get side effects with contemporary medical care. They are very potent. You only need one or more drops, and the reason why is because sometimes I need a really powerful punch with something that I'm dealing with. But if I'm just, using something for more of a maintenance, wellness purpose, one drop is plenty. I don't have to worry about overdosing, which is something you have to think about when you use contemporary medical care, is there's special doses that you have to adhere to. And if you make a mistake, that can be unsafe. Well, where I don't want to use too much essential oils because that would be wasteful. If I accidentally use too much or use them too often, I'm really not even going to notice. I mean, it's very safe, but they are also potent at the same time, which I know those two words together don't really make sense, but 10 years of experience, I've understood what something being potent and very effective means, while at the same time having that safety factor. They have a great track record. Like I said, for 10 years, I have not been prescribed an antibiotic, where prior to that, I had been on and off of them for quite some time. And they're less expensive. Who doesn't love that they're less expensive than contemporary medical care. So for all those reasons and actually more, that's why I will always use essential oils for wellness. So next slide is, what is an essential oil? Okay, so like you were just asking me about the difference between essential oils and homeopathics, well, this is what an essential oil is. It's volatile aromatic compounds in plants, and they come from the leaf in some plants, and in other plants they come from the flower or the root or the bark or the pulp of the plant, like the actual tree product. They come from seeds and stems, so all different kinds of the plants depending on the plant. Not all plants have an essential oil, and so they're either steam distilled or they're cold pressed extracted, and that's what essential oils are. I sometimes refer to them as plant juice.
Yeah, we
okay,
have.
You guys go ahead to the next.
Yeah, we have
go ahead.
spearmint and peppermint in my garden.
Mm-hmm.
The actual plant.
So if you rub the leaf, like you see on this picture on the slide, those little oil sacs pop open, and then that's what makes your hand smell like the mint, and that's why you can make tea. And these are so potent that 1 drop of peppermint essential oil equals around 28 cups of peppermint tea. And so that's what's really great about essential oil is, like, during the winter time, I don't have fresh, pure cilantro from my garden because it's not a winter plant, but I can take my little bottle of cilantro essential oil and I can take a toothpick and I can dip it in the bottle, and then I can add that to my recipe, or I can mix 1 drop of cilantro essential oil with a few tablespoons of salt, and then just kind of add that to my cooking as I wish to kind of flavor it and kind of control the salt and the cilantro flavor at the same time.
And you helped me out when I was having a hard time finding dill flavoring for my pickles.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew that you would appreciate that, so
Yes.
that's why I sent that. The next slide just kind of like for the nerds that are kind of curious about the testing and everything. And I don't go into a lot of that because there's so much information on doTERRA's website, because that's where I get my essential oils from, and that's where I direct my clients through my website to get them from doTERRA. And they actually, on the bottom of the bottle, have a lot number, and you can type the lot number into their website Source to You, and you can find out all the laboratory information from the essential oil testing that they've done, because they do more testing than any other company on the planet. So you can just move along and we'll talk more about these oils. Aroma is powerful. There are 3 ways to use essential oils. There's the aromatic way, like I mentioned, they're volatile aromatic compounds, and so you can put them in a diffuser, and they will put the microfine mist particles into the air. The essential oil molecules are extremely small, and that's why they work so well with our human cells, is because the molecular structure of the essential oil is so small, it can actually go inside of a human cell. And that's something that modern medicines cannot do. And that's why when you go to the doctor, if you have a virus, they send you home with a prescription for your own immune system. They send you home to get rest and to hydrate. And because they don't have anything that can go inside of a human cell. That's a great thing about essential oils, is that they are lipophilics. They're a fat-loving substance. Our bodies understand them. They're very friendly with essential oils, and our body's chemistry is very friendly with one another. And so the essential oil molecules can actually go inside of a human cell and kind of do their job in there. So when you put the particles into the air, so one of my favorite ones to diffuse in the diffuser is called On Guard Protective Blend, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it actually puts the particles into the air because they're doing a job in the air and purifying. When you have somebody that's coughing who knows what into the air, it kind of goes out there and neutralizes those environmental threats that you're breathing in the air. So it's great news for this time of year. The next slide will talk about the next way we can use essential oils, which is topically. So you can use them topically so you can have localized support, whether it's muscle aches and pains, joints, or whether you have a like first aid type situation going on. So you can use them topically very effectively. Or if you have like a tummy ache, you can just apply a drop right to your tummy. Yep. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to some of our different ones that we'll talk about. And then the third way to use essential oils is internally, and not all of them are labeled for that. Many of them are. And so if you just look at the label on the essential oil bottle, it will indicate if it's an essential oil supplement, then that means it's the USDA has allowed its labeling for internal use. And then if it's not labeled essential oil supplement, it'll just tell you to use it topically or aromatically, and that's how you know. All right, so on our next slide, kind of talk about a few of the reasons that it would be a great idea to make sure that you have these in your home, because if you don't have them in your home, you can't use them. So there's environmental threats in the air. They are great to when you are going through airports and on airplanes, tight spaces with a lot of people that you don't know what what they've come across in trains and train stations, buses, waiting rooms, and doctors' offices, and all these different environmental places that make us somewhat vulnerable to whatever is out there, right? In fact, this weekend, my family and I will be traveling by plane, and so I will have my essential oils handy to kind of help get us through that. And most importantly, in an SHTF situation, the pharmacy is going to be looted and closed. So the time to stock up is now. The time to stock up is not going to be later. And so hopefully today's presentation will give you guys some reasons why you would want these, because if you have no reasons why you'd want them, you would not want them. So the first one I'll talk about is clove oil. It's not your most glamorous of essential oils, but goodness gracious, in an SHTF situation, you're not necessarily going to have easy access to a dentist. It might take a while, and you want to kind of give yourself a buffer, like a buffer meaning like buy yourself some time, right, where you can get proper care that you need. So clove is actually what they base their medicines on when you're at the dentist. The things that they use on you in the dentist is actually based off of the components in clove. And so what I would do with it is I would just take a drop or two of clove oil and in a little shot glass of water, and I would swish that around my mouth for at least a minute. And it's going to be kind of spicy, but when you're desperate, you'll do just about anything. And it's really good for you even if you don't have an urgent situation. This is a good thing to do just on a regular basis as well. And it's a powerful antioxidant. So what I like about it is this is an actual mouth swish that you could even swallow, and it would be good for you. Insect repellent, so again, you can diffuse this in your diffuser. And I'm not going to go over every single little bullet point because then the video will be super long. I know your audience is intelligent and they're reading along as we go. And this is kind of more of a preview video. And if you guys want more in-depth knowledge, you can definitely check out my channel because I go into a little bit more detail there. Recent comment on Dobson's video and let him know if you guys want more in-depth info on his channel. Okay, so the next slide is about frankincense, and we're in that time of year right now where it's Christmas season. We're celebrating the birth of Christ, and frankincense was one of those three gifts that the wise men brought to the Christ child. So what a lot of people just think of it as something in a Bible story, but it's actually quite precious. If you could do a video just on this all by itself, but since we don't have enough time, I'll just kind of highlight some of the things. That frankincense is one of those. So first of all, it's from the resin of a tree. Okay, so it comes from a frankincense tree in different parts of the world. So there's Oman, and then there's also Somaliland is another place where this is sourced, and there are sources that are not so good, and then there are sources where, the company that I go through, they source them with very fair practices, and I feel very good about how they source particular essential oil, caring about the land and the people and the trees. So frankincense is just one of those good all-around. If you don't know what to use, you can use frankincense, and it's most certainly going to assist you in the situation. It helps with mood and emotions and anxiousness and stress, any stress-related scenario. It's great for your nervous system. It can pass the blood-brain barrier, which is really, really good news for people that really need to support their brain and their nervous system in a really healthy and safe way. I love that it's good for immune support. That was one of the biggest things that drew me to essential oils in the first place, is immune support. And it helps us with managing healthy levels of inflammation just all throughout our body. And you can use it in all three ways: topically, aromatically, and internally. It does kind of taste like you could imagine that a tree would taste. It's mild, it's different, it's almost sweet and flowery, almost. Yeah. Do you have any questions about that?
No, it sounds really interesting. I think everybody's heard the story of the, frankincense and myrrh and everything. So I'm kind of curious, why they were using it in those times, and you're helping explain that.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know that they specifically had frankincense essential oil so much as they had the resin. And you could eat the resin. When they distill it from the resin, there's the volatile aromatic compound that comes out, which is the essential oil, and then what is left behind, the molecules are too big, and so some of that, what they do is they make that into supplements. So there is boswellia. So boswellia extract is an ingredient in some supplements. We have some supplements, and so boswellia is into capsule form. But what you have when you distill is the frankincense essential oil. So back then, I don't know that they distilled, and I don't know what their practices were, but it is very interesting.
All I know is a lot of this stuff is very rare, and that's why it was presented as a gift, very rare and very expensive. So
yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so next is lavender, and it's another kind of one of those Swiss Army knives. What's interesting is how essential oils can be as simple as you want it, but they're so complex in the science side of it that a person that doesn't care at all about science can absolutely love them and use them, and then the person that is just absolutely fascinated by science can also absolutely love the science side of it. So, for instance, lavender has over 200 different components that makes it a pure lavender essential oil. And think of that. If you were going to make a cake, and to make that cake, you had to put 200 one theme. All its components is what makes it good for so many things, so many different health benefits, and that's why it's one of those Swiss Army knife essential oils. So it's great for calming and relaxing. It's safe to use with pets and kiddos and babies. We dilute them with coconut oil for little people and for small pets. I have a video on that on my channel. It's great for skin, helping with things like scars to kind of normalize. This is something that, like, if I burnt myself on my curling iron, I would grab my lavender and I would put it on the burn, and that would just kind of neutralize that sensation.
In Florida, we used aloe plants for burns, but surprisingly, just a few miles from my house, we have a lavender farm, and I keep thinking I need to drive over there to go see this because there's a whole farm of just lavender here.
Yeah, and see, I would love to have a lavender farm in my front yard.
Yep.
Plant a whole bunch of lavender. So there are seasonal uses for it. So in the spring and fall, there's people that are more affected by just breathing the air than your average everyday person. And so it's one of those things that's really great for those folks that have a harder time with sneezes. And I have a whole video on lavender oil, go in depth in that on my channel. And it's one of those that you can use all three ways, topically, aromatically, and internally. And I wish we could talk all day about it, but we can't.
Jennifer, one of the things I can do is I can link some of your videos in the description. You know, I always put references. So what I'll do is I'll go onto your channel and I'll try to find some of those things and link them. So if people want more information, they'll go straight to, use that link and it'll get right to your channel.
Yeah. So a few of them would be a good link. And like lemon, I also have a video on that to go a little bit more in depth for people. For lemon, it's first of all, it's like summer in a bottle. So it's one of those great ones to diffuse in the winter time if you need a lift to your mood, if the gray skies are really affecting you. So it supports circulation, which is really important for some people. It's a great immune support. It's I don't need to go over all of these, but again, it's for those folks that have a little bit harder time, breathing in the spring and the fall. If you use lemon, lavender, peppermint together, 2 drops each in a shot glass, it's really, really great. My ears were plugged up one time when I was at somebody's house. I don't know if they had mold in their house or what, but I left their house and my ears were all plugged up. And you know how if you try talking and your ears are plugged up, you hear your voice inside your head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So just all plugged up. Yeah. Well, I came home and I'm like, I'm gonna try that lemon, lavender, peppermint thing that I hear people talk about. So I did it, and instantly my ears were open. It was pretty amazing.
Great.
Lemon is really great for the liver. So for folks that want to support their liver and their immune system, if you just take a drop of lemon oil and you use it in your water, making sure it's glass or stainless steel and not a plastic container, it's very supportive for your liver and immune system. And the reason why we use glass or stainless steel is because citrus oils have kind of a chelating effect. They can pull plastics out of plastic.
Yeah.
And so that's not something you want to drink. So that's why we use glass or stainless steel.
Yep.
And in our next slide, it's one of my favorites. This is truly tea tree. So this is truly one of those emergency essential oils, melaleuca. It's what's great about it is that if you have something going on your skin, if you have a cut or a scrape or something, and you put the tea tree oil on the wound, it's not going to sting. I mean, if you have pain, it's because you already had pain, but it's not because you put tea tree oil on it. And this will kind of come out in the video, but the things that I share with people, I only mean for them to explore with the brands that I represent, because I can't represent the safety and effectiveness of other brands. So I just wanted to be clear on that. that my advice only applies to the doTERRA plant. But this one really is truly versatile. I mean, all of these are, but it's just so great. I love that it doesn't cause pain. I wish we could spend more time on that one. Yeah, so these next two slides are basically sum up my story. They sum up my story of how I figured out that these essential oils are the real deal and go along with the story that I told you in the very beginning. And this would be like my number one emergency go-to oil because I've discovered how powerful it is. So I nicknamed this essential oil the shotgun because it's a killer. So that's why I named it the shotgun. Oregano is the shotgun. It's very versatile. It's one that is to be very respected. And by that, what I mean is you would treat oregano like it's a hot jalapeno pepper, and you would never really think about doing that. You know, that's why we have so many people that have stories about oregano and all the wrong things that they did with it, because they did not realize how a very pure oregano oil is hot and spicy. It's a hot, warm, spicy oil. So this is not one I would use as perfume. Not that I would smell like pizza. But what I mean is I would not put it directly on my sensitive skin areas, you know, like under your arm.
Yep.
Or your neck. Those sensitive skin areas, you would want to heavily dilute it with coconut oil. But this is very immune supportive. It helps in a digestive scenario. It helps to manage your healthy levels of bacteria, because we need some, but we don't want to have too much. And this is one that I use for my bladder health. So moving on to the next slide, this is my favorite recipe for bladder health. I recently have changed this recipe to add in a couple of drops of celery seed oil, because that's new to our list of our catalog of oils. So I use 3 drops each of oregano, lemon, and juniper berry. And the reason for that is so oregano helps manage the healthy levels of bacteria. The lemon oil is really good for your kidneys and that whole genitourinary system, as well as the juniper berry is as well. And then the celery seed is as well. And also the other reason for the lemon oil is to kind of help balance out that hot and spiciness of the oregano, because the oregano in your tummy could feel like there's a party going on in there. So the lemon oil kind of helps to balance out and cool that off. This is my favorite recipe, and whenever I feel like I have a situation that is urgent, I will take one of these capsules every hour until I feel like I have gotten things under control. And then after that, I taper it off, and I'll take a capsule every 2 to 3 hours. And then the following next 4 days, I will take 3 capsules a day. You have to kind of like if you go to the doctor and they say, hey, take this, take the whole thing, this for 5 to 7 days or whatever. It's kind of the same scenarios. You want to make sure that you have fully balanced your situation properly for the long term. So Peppermint essential oil, we'll go through these ones quickly. This is also a great one for garden uses. You guys can read these bullet points, but for garden uses, there was a really great little study that somebody did on squash plants, and they mitigated the situation with the pests that deal with that by like 90%. So it was like 90% effective. And what you do is like on a small scale, we'll just talk on a small scale, you get like 16 ounces or so of water and to maybe 5 to 10 drops peppermint oil. You kind of have to figure out what what works best for your situation. You shake it up, obviously, every time you use it, and you use it during the cool of the day. So if you want to use it at nighttime because you're more worried about, I'll probably use it more in the cool of the evening, because that kind of seems like that's when the pests come out more. You spray it on your plants, your leaves, top and bottom, stems. Yep, you spray it on there, and it's 90% of any garden problem. You can use peppermint oil. There's other oils that you can use as well in the garden, but peppermint oil is a favorite. I would use this at least once a week and see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah, the peppermint's very, very versatile, and you can use it in all three ways: aromatically, internally, and topically as well. It's great for muscles and joints. Okay, this is pronounced Copaiba in Brazil. It comes from Brazil. It comes from a tree. There are people that use this essential oil from a tree in place of CBD oil. It's kind of confusing now. If you go out in the marketplace, you know, CBD oils at the grocery store, it's at the furniture store, it's at, you know, it's at the Bed Bath and Beyond. It's everywhere. And I mean, how do you find out what's actually a true medicinal, high quality, you know, CBD oil? Much more complicated is the whole regulatory process. We don't even know what the federal government's going to do with that. So I don't necessarily want to get attached to something that's not even going to be there in 5 years. Who knows what they're going to do? But Copaiba is a very mild flavor, actually. You can use it internally. Almost doesn't even have a flavor, but it's very great for oral health problems, emotional well-being. Like I said, things that people would use CBD oil for, they're using Copaiba. It's very, very, very affordable. It's like, I don't know, $20-some, $30, something like that. And it doesn't take much, you know, just a little bit goes a long way. And I'm stocked up on that. That's something that I make sure I'm stocked up on. Okay, let's move forward.
Yep.
Now these kind of have pet names, that kind of blends that are named things that give you an idea of what they're used for, right? So this one's called Breathe, and it's just a blend of, you know, peppermint and eucalyptus and ravinsera, and some different other essential oils. I meant to put all the ingredients on there, but it's just a blend that's designed to help support your breathing, and it's really great in during the times of year when there's like wildfires. If you diffuse this, you could put a drop on your throat to your neck. At that time, you can use this for your kiddos. You can put a drop on the bottoms of their feet. You know, it's very effective that way. And then this other one called Deep Blue, that's just a pet name for this different essential oil blend that is a favorite among men. I will tell you, this is a top seller for men, and it's really great for joints and muscle aches and pains and those kinds of things. It's really great for after my husband works outside doing projects. He likes me to put this on his muscles, especially at bedtime, and then he wakes up and he doesn't have that same early morning achiness that he would normally have. Okay, and if we move even further, the next slide, we'll talk about a great digestive blend, just like everything digestive. So, I mean, just everything that you could possibly imagine on the spectrum. And it can also be used with animals as well. And I have a pet video on my channel that I talk about, you know, how you would do that. It's great to say, here's a bottle of plant juice, and you can use it for all these things. And then it's another thing to actually show people 1 drop or 2 drops and exactly what you do with it. So that's what my channel is about, is to take this thing that seems complex and really simplify it so that it's easy and makes sense to people. And then my very, very favorite is this On Guard Protective Blend, and this is the thing that I diffuse in my home when my son comes home from school and he's hacking up who knows what that he brought home. I diffuse this in my house into the air. But it's also a great immune support. So I actually have a list of 52 things you can do with this essential oil, and that's still not even everything you can do with it. So I'm kind of like a cheapskate person. I love a good value. I like being able to take one thing and use it for so many different things. So
Excellent.
that's what I really love about these. Yeah, and you can also use these with animals too, which is on my pets video.
Yep.
And it tastes good. Like, it smells like fall. It smells like almost like a pumpkin spice something cooking on the stovetop. You know, it smells like a pumpkin spice cake.
Yep.
So it's a really great fall. Yeah, so definitely good emergency oils here. I do not travel anywhere without these two oils here, the Digest-N and the On Guard. I don't go anywhere without those oils. I promise you. Okay, moving forward is we have the Purify and Cherry Shield, or you can use citronella. We also have citronella. But these are good, like, so imagine an SHTF situation. You don't know if you're bugging in or bugging out or where you're going to be or what the situation is, but you need to be able to think about sanitation. You need to think about how to protect yourself from insects and things like that, because insects carry nasty things you don't want getting into your stream. And you don't want that happening with your pets either. And so that's why I like that it's great for both humans and animals. So these are two really good emergency oils. I think those are our last two essential oils. They're just a blend of different, essential oils, and they blended them together so that you didn't have to necessarily have them all. So they just blended them for you and made it a label so that you could easily tell what you can use it for. I really like to use the Purify in my laundry too. So fractionated coconut oil, I've kind of mentioned to you guys that some of the essential oils should be diluted for animals or diluted for babies and small children or people with sensitive skin. And this is a great way to do that. It's a liquid coconut oil, and it's not because there's anything wrong with the fatty part. That's really good for you too. But this is a great way that you don't stain your clothes. It doesn't go rancid, and you can just take 1 drop essential oil and a couple of drops of this coconut oil, and that just dilutes it a little bit. It doesn't make it any less strong, because if you have 1 drop of essential oil, you still have 1 drop of essential oil. It's just the speed and the manner and the pathway of how it's getting into your body, right? And into your tissues. So that's one thing that any essential oil user should have in their cabinet. And then, finally, just, our next slide, be a provisioning overcomer. That's just kind of my term that I've kind of adopted for preparedness, instead of, prepper. There's nothing wrong with that. But I really like the inspiration of being a provisioning overcomer. So you have to think ahead about these things, right? You have to think ahead and prepare and plan. And I can help people get stocked up. I can slow or fast, whatever works for you. And there are 2 ways to order. There's the wholesale way and there's the retail way. I always recommend people purchase wholesale, which is the exact same price as I get it for. And what that does for me is, because I'm bringing the customer to doTERRA, they give me a commission. And so that's kind of how that works, how I make money, and how the person who is the new customer gets the same deal that I get. So that's kind of how that works.
So Jennifer, on these bottles, do each one of them come with their own eyedropper, or how does that work when you're trying to divvy it up? Like you're saying, 1 or 2 drops of this, that, or the other.
There's only one bottle that comes with an eyedropper, and it's it's because it's thick and it's more of a nutritional supplement. So what I do is I just take the cap off. And that's also what's great about my videos, is I actually take the cap off and I show you what to do. And you just tip it to the side, and a drop comes out of the bottle. And so it comes into the palm of your hand.
Okay.
And so then from the palm of your hand, you can apply it to your body, or it can actually drip out and drip into a capsule if you're making a capsule, or it can drip out into the diffuser if you're putting it in the diffuser.
Okay, what about like the shelf life of these materials? Are they all similar and they have certain storage?
I'm glad you asked. So earlier you asked me about homeopathics, which homeopathics can last 120 years. So that's the great thing about homeopathics. But essential oils, they're almost like honey, where they have a really long shelf life as well, right? The company is required to put an expiration date on them, and the expiration date on the bottle of this Copaiba that I'm looking at says expiration date of 2023. But I know, because of my education and knowledge, I know that the shelf life is much, much longer. There has been even testing done to show that they can be very effective after 20 years even. So that's the other great thing about it.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on the storage conditions, right? If you're in a nice air-conditioned house or whatever, it's going to last longer than if you leave it in your purse in the car or something,
Right. These are not something you want to store in your car in the summertime. Yep. It's better if it's a cooler place, and it's better if it's a less light, and that's why they come in dark amber glass bottles. So I'm glad you asked about that,
Yeah. So my last question, it almost seems like they ought to be selling like a spice rack, because you're showing on this last page gobs of these things and you have to somehow organize this. So I was curious if they had something like that for, display purposes to make it easy to find what you need.
Well, I do believe that on my website through the shopping area, there's accessories area, and there's like a little wooden box that you can get. And then there's also, I know that colleagues of mine like to shop on Amazon for essential oil organizational boxes, or one of my favorite websites is called aromatools.com, and there's all different kinds of containers for holding essential oils and organizing them.
So are they labeled on the lids also, or is it just on the sides of the bottles?
So they're labeled on the sides of the bottle, and then on the top of the lid, they don't label it, but you can buy a sheet of stickers for 50 cents, and that's what I do, is I label the tops of the bottles.
Okay.
It's a great question, actually.
Yeah, because if you were in some sort of box like you're talking about, then you'd still have to have them in some sort of order or pull them out to see what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
unless you put the stickers on, they would all look the same.
Yep.
Yeah, great question.
All right. Well, this looks great. I'm very pleased that I was able to have you on and discuss your channel, because this is definitely something that I think would be helpful to a lot of people. I know that I've talked about my struggles with modern medicine, and that they just like to give you pills and stuff, and I'm not a pill popper. I'd rather figure out what is the real cause and try to resolve it. So we're neither one of us are on any recurring medicines, but I sure would like, I still use my Tylenol, if I stress myself, but things like this would probably be even better. So you never know.
Yeah, well, I hope you know that how grateful I am that you have me on your show. And yeah, I think I've had a couple of Tylenol in the past 10 years, but that's probably about it.
All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to leave with the? I've got her YouTube name up here, Essential Oil Stories. I've got the web page and also her email, Jennifer's email. So if you have any questions for her, but definitely comment on this and let me know if this is the type of content you're interested in. I'm trying to give you always a varied content. And anything you'd like to leave us with, Jennifer?
I think I would just like to leave you with, in the month of December, this year, 2019, there is a special promotion where you can get a free bottle of Frankincense essential oil, which the wholesale price on that is about $70. So a free bottle of Frankincense essential oil, when you spend a certain amount, I think it's about 200 PV. PV just means point value, and that's just kind of because it's an international company. That's kind of how they assign some values. And if anyone is really like gung-ho and they really want to explore this, rather than just going on my website and buying something, I really like to kind of help somebody figure out what's going to be the best way to start. So I would love if people reach out. I'm so not a hard sell. Like, if you don't want any of this, that's fine. If you want one thing, that's fine. But I do like to kind of help people through that process. So that's all.
So I think it's funny, you know, they're highlighting frankincense, but there were three things, and I'm drawing a blank. It was frankincense, myrrh. What was the third thing in the biblical story? Do you remember?
Gold.
What was it?
Gold.
Oh, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Okay.
Gold,
Okay.
myrrh.
Okay. I couldn't I thought it was another spice, but okay. So anyways, that's we already covered gold, and so it'd be interesting if they would actually put in the myrrh as well, but maybe there's no health benefits for myrrh. I'm not even sure what it is. So
No, we have myrrh, and there is really great health benefits for it. I love to mix it with some different things. Some people actually think that the gold represents turmeric.
Oh, okay. That could be.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well, this is great.
so it might be a spice.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, my wife's just showing up, so I appreciate your time, and I hope to talk to you again.
I hope so as well. I really love your channel, so keep up the good work.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, everyone. Well, that's the show. I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.